Greetings, family. This is Indra, and you are watching Politically Incorrect. Politically Incorrect. Yeah, yeah. Politically Incorrect. Real news for the people in real time. Politically incorrect. Reality from him and the play. Royal elect, it's time to get in place for real news for the people in real time.
Yes, greetings, family. Welcome to Politically Incorrect, where we get it correct. So, greetings in the name of His and Her Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie First, Empress Wazira Menin. One perfect balance. Yes, it's good. It's good stuff. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your patience. Went to get me a drink of water, something to wet the palate. I can unplug this. I think so. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it worked. Okay. Okay, it worked. It worked. So, family, where do we begin? Really, there's just so much going on. It's like, where do you begin? If you let these people tell you what to focus on, you'll be going in circles. There's always something going on and on and on and on. So we got to be strategic. So I want to throw something out there today and ask a couple of questions and see what comes up. Who exactly owns the land of Barbados? Not the land in Barbados, but the land of Barbados. And what do I mean by that? We're going to get into that a little later. We also going to touch this. Remember I talked about the clip on Monday. What was it? Miss Motley, our prime servant. We gathering. We're going to talk about that as well. And I definitely want to touch on this thing where, I don't know, media, I don't know. The youth, the situation with the youth. It's I don't know, man. There's a lot of conversations going on, and there are a lot of youth programs, and a variety of programs. But I don't know if we're looking at this holistically or not. But we will see tonight. We're gonna get into it. I'm going to put the number on the screen here a second. Let me throw that up right there at the bottom. If you're here in Barbados or you're outside Barbados, you can definitely give us a call. The lines are definitely open. We're on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I might got to change that 8 p.m., but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that. We can go from there without question. Definitely want to shout out the family that's always ready, tuned in. Shout out to my brethren, Sean. It's in the chat room. Look empty. Nah, that's all right. We here, man. We here. Who's supposed to be here? Here. Yeah, I see you, Sean. I see you. King Alfred, good evening to you too. Viewers locked on from a cold night in Brooklyn, NYC. So you definitely went from sun to the cold. I don't know what y'all be thinking, man, but y'all must love that weather. Y'all must love that weather. Sean say evil, never. I see Aaron in the building. Greetings. Grand rising to you too, family. Shout out to all the Maroons in the building. All the Maroons, for sure. Y'all already know. We gonna get into some stuff tonight a little different though, because the thing with this land I want to bring up. I saw a presentation recently. I saw it recently, but I don't think it was recent, and I don't know if you want to play the clip. It was from a lady. I think her name is Dr. Tanya Haynes. I think it was. There was at some kind of Black Feminist Forum 2024. Yeah, Black Feminist Forum. I mean, I know, man. I know. I would like to have a conversation with Dr. Haynes, though. That would be interesting, because she spoke about a number of things, including the first the first Black society, or slave society, maybe for that different term. The first slave society in the Western Hemisphere, I suppose, is what we can call it. But she spoke about that. She spoke about the riots and what had happened, and how those individuals managed to come about the land that was bequeathed, quote unquote, to them from the plantation owner at the time, who, when he heard about what happened, I guess he wanted to reward them for something. We could only imagine what that is. And although she mentions it, she doesn't highlight it, and I suppose there's reasons for that. But nevertheless, we're going to get into it. Maybe one of y'all might know who she is. The number's on the screen. You can tell her, give me a call. We can have a conversation about that, including this Black feminist. And what exactly is that? So we get that clear, especially in 2025, you know. So it'd be interesting to have a conversation. Again, let me know what y'all think about that, and we can go from there. Marie, I see you. Greetings to you too. Greetings to you too. Good night. Good night. Peace to the Moors as well. There's so much. Alex, question, man. You know, who exactly owns the land of Barbados? Not the land in Barbados, but of Barbados. We're going to get into that tonight. I wanted to play a particular tune for this, but I say gonna let it go. I ain't gonna let it go. I was going to join Gabby and the tune Jack, you know, can't be it on my beach. It's like you can't even go to the waters anymore. I keep hearing people tell me that this part get blocked off, that part get blocked off, and it's like slowly but surely, who exactly owns the land of Barbados? This is ridiculous. So recently they had some stuff happening in the waters. You know, those who don't know, there was a fishing competition that took place here in Barbados over the weekend, and North Swells were passing through as well. And I don't know the details of it per se, but I managed to get a glimpse or two. I thought it was quite interesting for a number of reasons. You know, for a number of reasons. I saw a whole lot of boats on the water, the guys fishing for fun. I mean, well, I guess it was fun or for sport. Either way, I guess it's the same thing. But something came to mind. You know, here we are in the fisheries having our challenges, and again, show it to all the fisher folks in Barbados doing amazing work. And I just want to say that, you know, it's about 6 months since this thing happened. And so seeing, you know, Barbados having this event, folks coming out for fun, I suppose. And it was good, I guess, if you like that kind of thing, if you had the resources that you own a private yacht, you can go fishing on your day off. I guess it's very therapeutic. I don't doubt that. When I thought of the fishermen, like, yo, imagine that, you know, like I thought about that. And I was thinking, I gonna call you forward, King. I'm doing a live. Yeah. I put this on vibrate. I forgot that. Yeah. So basically, I was just saying to myself, you know, the fisher folks, they're not in that space where they can do that. So, you know, I was just thinking about it like, man, you know, imagine you have the luxury of doing that. And so some folks right now are trying to figure out how they're going to get their vessel back in the water. Now, yes, I know the government said they're going to do, the administrators said they're going to do something. They're going to give out some funds and assist them perhaps in securing perhaps, you know, what we call a loan, or I don't know the details, but I'm not sure how that is working out yet, but we'll find out in a few weeks. We got to do part 2 of that program, follow up. And so what I want to do tonight, though, is also just, you know, give you a glimpse also what has happened since then in that space, and see that things have improved somewhat. There's even fish. Now, I learned some stuff this day. I see some red snappers with yellow eyes, and there's some other red fish with black eyes, and I thought they were all the same, but they're not. They're not the same. They're not the same. So at this point, if you know someone who's in the fisheries and fishing industry, tell a friend and tell a friend. Make sure you like and share the thing, you know, that kind of way. And, you know, we're going to connect the two. Don't forget, you can't discuss land without discussing sea, because the land is surrounded by the sea. And that's what, you know, identifies the land, what it's surrounded by. It's all one. So who exactly owns the land of Barbados? I guess we have to answer ourselves exactly what is Barbados. We'll get to that in a minute, but let's check this fishing situation out that was going on down there. If y'all remember how it used to be, maybe I should do a juxtapose. Maybe I should do a before and an after. And so, in fact, I think I'll do the other one first. Do I have that footage? Yes, is this it? This the one here? Yeah, actually. Well, that was cool. All right. I'm gonna do the before. And then do the after. So let me switch this and put this one up instead. Excuse me. Yeah, Rose would say, You start sneezing a whole lot, somebody talk your name. Yeah, you know it is. Okay, let me go and get that particular file with the fisheries of the before and the after. Is this a video? I wonder. Let me see. This I don't even. I don't think that one. That's the. I don't think that's the one. Let me see here. What number is that? That is 00. Okay. Okay. If y'all can remember exactly, it was a mess. Everything was kind of tossed up, piled up on each other. You know, it wasn't pleasant. And there was a whole bunch of diesel in the water, boats that were sunken, and I mean, it was just a few vessels actually sunk because of this, and they had to go. Divers had to go, and I think the Coast Guard. Big up to the Coast Guard too, because they played an instrumental role in this. I think some of those guys had to put on the whole suit up and everything, and go into that diesel water and gasoline water and whatever else, and then really assist. So I mean, it was good to see people coming together, and as always, helping each other out in these situations. You know, Barbados is a place where people are very resilient, and we do come together when we have to. We do make things happen, and it's that's the beauty of the people, regardless of what's going on. So this was how it was back then. And this is just a glimpse of what we had to deal with in a very short space. And I say we because we got involved to some degree and pitched in our own little ways to contribute. And so that's what it was. And so now let me give you a glimpse real quick of what it is now. It's a lot different. Yeah, I was paying attention to the fish. I was let me go here. So this is some of the construction they're doing to restore the break wall that was damaged, severely damaged. Is, as you can see, they moved in some equipment. They're actually building a road across where they can allow the trucks to come on in and bring some material that they brought from somewhere far. That's all I could tell you. They brought some material and they want to bring these stones and dump it in there and just rebuild this area. And in order to make it secure, it doesn't make no sense leaving it as it is. And then we have some more bad weather early this year before the closing season or by the end of the year when it returns. And we find ourselves in a worst case scenario, back in the position or worse. So they're restoring that. But look at the boats now. Look at the areas way more orderly. A lot of these vessels are back in the water. Some are operable. I would have to say that perhaps not all. I got to find out that although they're back in the water, and the truth is, a lot of boats are currently in repair in the water. They're not seaworthy, in other words. So although some of them up and running, a lot of them are not. And so yeah, I was kind of paying attention to these fish a bit. I thought it was really interesting. I was happy to see that the fisherman, the small guy, that the small boat, it was a very small boat, went out. I was happy to see that they actually brought something in. And that was the good part. But I wanted to get to the other side as well, where the other vessels are at. So as you can see, it's not where it should be as yet, but the guys and the guys and girls down there, the young men and young women and the fishermen and fisher folks, they're working towards making this thing happen on a different level. And I just want to commend them for that. As you can see, the water is a lot cleaner. And to my knowledge, they did this pretty much themselves. I mean, big salute, not saying that other folks weren't contributing factors, but as you can see, this is lowliner. This lowliner is in the water, but is clearly a bit, out of order. And again, looking across, these are some vessels. You can see some have damage. Well, some are damaged still, but not all. But just getting you an update on what's going on down by the fishing folks. Let me see if I can go across the other side. Yeah, I did notice that didn't look like it fit in there. It didn't look like a fishing boat. It looked a bit exotic, but I don't know. It just didn't look like it didn't look like one of the fishing vessels that we used to. So that caught my attention. Yeah, so this is where we at here now. Like I said, some of the boats are running, some are not. You can, once you get close, you can start to realize that there's some boats in some disrepair. So I don't know how soon the administrators are going to get the funds to these guys that need the assistance, but we just can't have them sitting there, just sitting there, just sitting there. You know, we got to get this thing up and running ASAP. You know, in the effort to restore the industry. Let me see if I could. Let me see if I could change something on this in terms of. Let me go forward here. Yeah, this is another one. Here's a large one. This is another a long liner. I think it's what it's called. That's a long liner. Well, outside the fact that it is long, it goes out for a while. It has, you know, the kind of equipment that allows it to do so. But they're beautiful, beautiful vessels, man. I mean, I'm loving it. They're really attractive. And shout out to all the folks who are doing the repairs, all the men that have their work cut out for them, that are dedicated to this thing and making it happen as well. Shout out to the folks are from the industry that are making it happen. That's, you know, I saw this one for sale and I made sure I paid attention to it for sure. I didn't get a number. If anybody knows who this belongs to, make sure you pass my number on to them. I was thinking, yeah, I like this. Oh wait, that's me. Yeah. Moving right along. Let me get past that. So yeah, I was looking at that one. But if you know anybody who owns that vessel, yeah, tell them, give me a call ASAP. So but I did notice some. Let me pause here for a second. I don't know if y'all can see it. I did notice there was some film, like of, I guess, diesel or gas. I don't know which one floats or which one burns off quicker on the water surface still. Maybe it's oil. Perhaps it's oil. But I did notice that it wasn't a lot. It wasn't a whole lot. Just a small area that still had some residue. I suppose that might be a normal thing. I don't know. But I did see it on both sides. And if you could look carefully, you could kind of see a little reflection like stuff on the surface of the water, like a film, you know, as well. And so I did see that. But I also wanted to go across this area. I didn't show that video, but this area was also a complete mess, if y'all can remember. Being completely devastated. You can barely walk across here. You had to be very careful so you don't fall in those missing tiles, wooden tiles on the pier. But again, these boats, a lot of these boats are here, but a lot of them are being currently repaired in their current locations. Not all were taken out. Some came back in the water, but they're not all seaworthy. But big red on the sea. Yeah, so this is what's going on down here. Like I said, let me just kind of get forward. Yeah, this was the one I saw, and the one I said it didn't fit in. I thought didn't fit in. It didn't look like one of the fishing boats like we used to seeing. It didn't look like that. So there we go. Yeah, interesting vessel. It looks heavily damaged. I'm not sure why, but maybe, I don't know. It didn't look like it was the storm. It just, I don't know. But the hurricane, but black gold. So there are a number of boats down there that, like I said, that have their own little damage. Let me go forward here. The fuel pump area where the vessels would also get the fuel pump, the fuel, the diesel and stuff from, that has also been repaired. You can see some of the damage here in this particular footage. And it was really terrible. And from what I seen on the ground, one of the meetings they had, that area is what they're going to restore and build back up the part that, you know, those boilers and those, I mean, the kind of force that was required to move those, it shows you the strength of the ocean. So that's what's going on there. Right over here, you see this is back up and running. If y'all remember, this was a complete mess, an absolute mess. And so Barbados working, man. They working. Let me go back here real quick. I think there was something else here. Okay, let me go back here. Yeah, when I exited this area, let me just go back to the gas. I'm sure you can find it. Yeah. Let me go back here. On the other side of the jetty there now, the pier there as well, there are more boats lined off, you know. So like I said, the fisher folks are really looking to make it happen. They are working, and those who can financially, you know, get their stuff before they get, the percentage or whatever it is, the negotiated amount or the allotted, whatever they have, you could see that guys are actually working towards getting this stuff done. And not all, but some. So for those who may not be in a position financially to take care of, and shout out to the Rotary Club, by the way, for helping out the fisher folks as well. Definitely big shout out to the Rotary Club of Barbados. Again, it's about working together collectively to make it better and make it, I don't want to say easier, but we recognize that we're all in this together, and we got to look at it very differently than how we used to look at it. And that's what we're going to go into in a short while. Who exactly owns the land of Barbados? Because Barbados belongs to the people. The land of Barbados, the place that we now call Barbados. And I say we now call Barbados because it was years ago when we, that wasn't our position. In most cases, we were trying to flee or burn it down. We wasn't embracing it. And that was for obvious reasons. And anybody who take offense to that, then you got issues. Like, for real, you got issues. Because we understand the circumstances of what was happening. And that's why we took offense to certain things. So I might say some things tonight that might be a little uncomfortable, and some folks might feel offended by it. But then if you're offended, then it's probably you I'm referring to. So, yeah. But this is the situation here. Like I said, there's some vessels here on dry dock as well. They some look like they're being worked on. Some are just there. Some look as if they'll never get back in. And there was one more actually. I had. Is this the one? I don't think this is the one. This one was missing completely. The whole front is missing. And there's another one. Hang on. Oh yeah, I thought this was funny. I'm sorry, I don't know who this belongs to. I just thought it was funny. The British experience. I don't know. It was just the name. I don't know who this belongs to. No offense. None intended. But I just thought, the fact that it was the experience. It's been a rough experience. The British experience has been rough. I totally agree. So I just saw that, yeah, don't mind me. So that's what's up, family. That's what it is. Like I said, if you know anybody in the fishing industry, like I said, the situation is much better than it was. Big salute to the folks. Of course, business is not the same. So there are people who are actually feeling it. There are people who didn't even own a boat, but might have been working on the boat, that are no longer working on the boat. They're unemployed. So there are folks that need help and need assistance. And if you can help in any way, please contact someone contribute in that whatever way, or you can give us a call and see how best we can connect you with some folks who might be, might be grateful for your help. I was watching the clouds. So I was like, it was kind of nostalgic in a way, like, outside looked kind of gloomy, and, just looking back at what had happened. So that's where I found myself the other day, just looking to see what was going on, recognizing that we've come a long way. Yeah. And I was happy to see the catch of the day, for sure. That was good. For a small vessel, it seemed to pull in a decent amount. I love this thing called fishing now. I'm into it, for sure. Just want to check the comments real quick. The indigenous sovereigns, yes, in terms of who owns the land. Beaches are public in Barbados. There's no private beaches. Well, be that as it may, Sean, I know areas that you can't access. You have to go out and come back in. You're not walking across the coast. And although we can say, well, yes, there's some rock spaces that might prevent that, well, there's also some deliberate boulders as well. So that kind of situation, you know what I mean? But the people that brought it went for sale, not no fake crown. Well, you see, I like to thank Alex. Now, again, shout out to Alex Mitchell, man, faithful and loyal, frontline warrior for sure. They turn grants into loans or fraud. They do a lot of things. Greetings to you too, family. Divine greetings to everyone. Shout out to Miss Critch Low. Good to see you. Good to see you. Shout out to Fade, by the way. Cannot not shout out Fade. Shout out to Barbados National Congress. So much to say about that just now. Here is just, you got something, you got to try to keep the lid on it before it come all out. And then, you know what I mean? So that's what's up, man. That's what's up. Oil and gas onto the water. Well, like I said, shout out to the Coast Guard as well. I mean, I saw it myself. The good people, man. These are Barbadians who put in work, and a lot of them don't get the credit. And yes, I know how the system is structured, but in reality, we all have our own journey, and we all, we have our choices to make, and for the goodness and the betterment of the whole. So, Barbara Reed. Okay, well, yeah, bless you. Well, bless you too. Well, greetings to you too, family. Love and light to you and the family. I don't know that name per se. I'm guessing I don't know if you're new to the page. If you are new to the page, tell a friend to tell a friend. Don't keep it to yourself. Make sure like, share, and subscribe. The whole thing. But definitely you could go back and check some different programs that we would have had prior to tonight. Quite intriguing. Quite intriguing. Sean is saying here, no, wait a minute. Sean, Ports and Charles and Port Ferdinand are de facto private beaches. Wow. It said de facto private beaches. I like it, man. Government just taking too long to help all those fisher folks in BIM. Well, I'm not gonna make no excuses for the government. What I would say is that I think efficiency is a problem all across Barbados. We keep saying government, but in reality, the administrators, they sit there for a few years. The ones that have been there for a while, the permanent secretaries, the people, the civil servants have been sitting there for 15, 20, 25, 30 years. And that, a lot of them might just be tired and fatigued. And so they may not be deliberately telling you to hurry up and wait, but usually you got to hurry up and wait. So I agree, the bureaucracy, a bit, sluggish and lethargic, but I don't know, Good night to all. No tune in. Carlos gives thanks to Bakus. Give thanks. Shalom to you, family. Sharon, I see you too. Shalom. Salute to one and all. Greetings, family. Greetings to you. Not sure. I seen some new names, new labels, but it's all good. Welcome to Politically Incorrect, where we get it correct. Y'all already know. So let me just dive right into the question I have tonight. The question really was, who exactly owns the land of Barbados? The plantation owners own the land, colonizers, the ordinary man, not much. Well, that's a good place to start, because we have this false concept that the plantation owners is who own the land. But here's the deal. Ownership comes from purchase. Ownership comes in two ways. Let me put it this way. Lawfully and unlawfully. There's only two ways you can own anything. Lawfully or unlawfully. Of course, unlawfully is pretty self-explanatory. You go, you take it, you call it yours, and you possess it. The erosion of time does not undo the crime. You get me? So although a year might have passed, you still got it unlawfully. Although 2 years would have passed, it was still gained unlawfully. Although 100 years would have passed, it was still gained unlawfully. And no matter how many times you pass it on in your family, 400 years later, it was still gained unlawfully. You can't then turn around with your unlawful land and assign it to a group of administrators and somehow give them a title of independence, and it suddenly became lawful. You get me? It doesn't work like that. The other way to get land or anything would be lawfully, where you purchase it from the original owner. And so that would require some form of documentation and to indicate that you have been given this, or it has been handed over in the form of what the system called a title, namely a title deed, or some sort of document that would indicate there was a transfer between two parties. So when it comes to these plantations, let me just touch on this real quick before I move on. When we talk these plantations, how did the plantations get here? How did they manage to secure the plantation that they were on? In fact, how did they go about marking out what they considered theirs? Do y'all remember the Belgium conference? I mean, we talked about the Belgium conference. I don't know if somebody could Google that and put a link up. But if you never heard about the Belgium conference, go look that up. In fact, Go look that up. I just thought of that. I didn't have it prepped for tonight. Otherwise, I would have had the video up. But the Belgium conference. Let me see if I can find it really quick. Pull that up. Yeah, the Belgium conference. See if I can pull it up. Let me. Okay. 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 Let me see if I get an image of this situation for you. This was where a group of folks basically sat down and decided to divide Africa. And that's basically what it was. Some folks met in a room. They had a conversation. Sorry, the Berlin conference. Yeah, there you go. Not the Belgium. Yeah, it'd be incorrect. Correct us. Yeah, so I heard whoever said that. The Berlin conference. Let me see if I can find it. Find it. Oh, here it is. Yes, indeed. It is indeed the Berlin conference. Yes. So we know some folks sat at the table, basically looked at the map of Africa and decided who was going to take what and who was going to get what. So basically, there was a situation in Barbados just like that. There were some folks who sat down, looked at a map, and carved it up. King Alfred is Berlin, so you could correct that for me really quick. Is when they slice up Africa, for sure. Give thanks, family. The Berlin conference, yes. Scramble for Africa. Well, there was a conference to decide how they're going to divide Barbados. This goes back to 16 sometime, well, around the 20 something or the other that they tell us about. And they basically decided how they was going to possess this land because Barbados was the first genocide land in the region. We know this. But because it was the first genocide land, that would basically say that there were individuals who were already here. And we know this. We've had this conversation before in the past. But follow me here for a second, family. So let's fast forward a bit. So they divided and decided who was going to get what, and they took the property. Let me ask you a question. What if, because bear in mind this, keep this in mind. I want you to walk with me on this journey here tonight. So we got the Spanish Inquisition in Europe. We got the Moors who conquered Europe in the 7th century. If you never heard about that, please write this information down. Write this down. You got a smartphone. Just take your notes for now. Send a WhatsApp message to yourself. But if you're watching this on your phone, you should got a pen and paper. don't leave the screen. Write this on your get a pen, a piece of paper. So the Moors conquered Europe via Spain in the 7th century. And so black nobility was going on up in those neck of the woods. You know, we met white folk, well, what we call Europeans, the pale Europeans. I'm not even going to use the term white. We're not even going to use that. We're going to use a different term. The Caucasian man at that time, and we civilized the Caucasian man at that time. He was living a bit different than what he's doing now. Well, to some degree, I suppose. But they weren't all just Caucasian. They were they're what we considered original people living in those regions as well. That would have came from the motherland, which we now refer to as Africa. So they had the Inquisition, and folks would have then, after they conquered for a while and lived for a while, a couple hundred years have passed. The Spanish Inquisition chased the Moors out of Europe. They were chased out of Europe. Along with the Moors were also what we call now the Hebrew Israelites. I'm just using that word loosely. That word Hebrew is a funny. Well, it's not what we call the Jews. Let me use that term again, just for descriptive purposes. So they chased the Moors and the Jews out together. Why is that? Because they basically were the same people. They basically were the same. They look alike. It's all alike. It's all one. Just they had the different cultures, different way of expressing the Abrahamic, teachings. So that's what it was. One was considered Jew and one was considered Islam, and and that kind of thing. So They were both chased out. Some stayed, some left. So when they left, these are the builders that built Europe. So when they left, guess where they came? Well, they came to this region. They came to this neck of the woods. They went to the Americas. They went to the American Empire, the Moroccan Empire, the other side of the water, because they already knew where it was. They already knew where to go for safe for safe passage and to some place where they'd be safe. So they came to the Caribbean, what we call the Caribbean as well. They knew where to go. Don't forget the Spice Isles, right? They were moving stuff back and forth way before there was a Columbus. So they knew already. So they would have came here. So let me ask you a question. Don't you think these builders that came to these neck of the woods were already coming here before and were already here before and therefore would have already built cities already? We never looked at it like this, but they make us think that when they came, it was a bunch of bush and wild boars that were left by the Portuguese or whatever. About 100 years before they came, which is funny because it would make you think, well, wait a minute, while they were here for 100 years, did they ain't build nothing? I mean, I'm just saying. So we give this narrative that there was nothing going on. It was a bunch of bush, people wearing with bones in their nose, grass skirts, cuscus grass skirts, and run out barefoot with straight hair and painted face. That's the story we are told. But that's not the truth of the matter. We were already here. So we were already owners of this land. We already had built stuff all over. There are places in Barbados, if you go and you look at it, it don't add up. I mean, there's a building, there's a house when you're going up towards Welshman Hall. It's a white building, and on the gate it says, 16 something, or something along those lines. I don't remember the year it actually has. But if you think about it, how would it be possible that they land in Jamestown, well, whole town, a few guys on a ship with 10, what they call 10 slaves, and in less than 8 years, they would have deforested all the way inland to build such an elaborate house with material that was important. How that happened? So a lot of stuff don't add up. A lot of foundations. Oh, wait a minute, my mosquito zapper. A lot of houses you see with different foundations ruined. If you go to certain parts in the inland, you'll see a lot of foundations. There's nobody doing any archaeological studies in Barbados to say, well, yeah, this is. So we got to recognize our own story in between the pages that were left out. So when these plantation owners came and subdivided the territory that was already owned, a lot of the owners were people who were already here, who already had plantations. They already had plantations. They were already doing different things prior to that. We cannot just accept that, again, we're running around wild with what they call Arawaks, this kind of stuff. These people that they're calling Arawaks, they're describing us. That's just it. And so the books is who show you a different, listen to the word, illustration. They give you a different illustration, but that doesn't mean that that is authentic. And I'm just saying. So who exactly owns the land of Barbados? So let's fast forward again. So we got the people who the plantation running the place for a couple of centuries. It gets to a place where they, quote unquote, were paid out. They were bought. So they had the plantations. You got your, quote unquote, your stock, your slaves, your enslaved, and so on and so forth. And they were told, well, give us an estimate of what it is worth, and we'll pay you to shut it down. We got to shut this thing down. And so they were paid. They were paid. They were compensated for all they had in that space at that point in time. A lot of them left, some stayed, and it continued then as a colony for a little while, over 100 years, all the way to 1966, when somebody had the ingenious idea to create a country. We won't create a country and give it a new name. We'll turn the colony that already has a name. So we'll turn the colony into what we call a country, which is funny because a colony and a country, I mean, what's the difference? Can anybody tell me what the difference between a colony and a country is? I got a t-shirt for you tonight. Let me see. Let me check the comments real quick. I don't want to miss out on what the family is sharing. Let me see what's happening here. Oh, somebody going into the law. Somebody talking about allodial now title. They can't touch the land. Well, wait a minute. If the land is allodial to start with, then it means they can't touch it, period. Period. The brother said, blessed flow to this night. Give thanks, family. Give thanks. Yep. That is it. That is it. But they also did it in Barbados. Don't get tapped with it. Don't get tapped with it at all. Sean is saying, who set up this government? That is the question. Well, Sean, I'm going to touch that in a minute, Sean. Just give me a minute. I'm definitely going to touch that because I think that's the problem we keep finding. You got to recognize the plantocracy was running the colony. The plantocracy was the ruling class. And I say ruling because they're the ones that had the money. There's the one that got compensated. They were swimming in dough. They had all this land that was already cultivated and planted up. The only problem is they got paid for the labor. And now it's like, well, what are we going to do with this labor? We're going to create some unions. Are we going to encourage them to come back and work on the same farm, not plantation, the same farm that there were plantation workers before? And we're going to get them, opportunity to get housing and stuff. So that's how that happened, because there was nothing else to do. They were free, but they weren't freed and gifted land, except the folks in Rock Hall. I ain't going to touch it too much, though. Because, you start going on that road and people get all sensitive and you talk about, the house Negro and who sell out who and that kind of thing. Folks get real sensitive about that. But in reality, that's the reality. They were gifted land and they freed them. Everybody else was gifted, quote unquote, freedom, no land, no nothing. So if you went left, you stepped on somebody's plantation, you could have been charged for that because they had the policy enforcers. If you went right, you were charged with that because you end up right where you just got sent from. So it's a tricky thing. So like, you know what? Tell you what, come back, man, come back. I ain't gonna beat you no more. I promise. I ain't gonna beat you no more. You could come and work and I would give you a shilling or two. You know how the story goes. So a lot of folks figure they'll take it instead of just drinking the life to a stupor. So they did that and that's how that went down. But then, they were running the colony with the same system they were running it before. The do's and the don'ts and the elite versus the have versus the have nothing at all. And the few that had a little, you know how that was going. So 711 Africa known as Moors conquered the Iberian Peninsula, Spain and Portugal today, ruled for nearly 800 years or so. Yeah, so anybody who's unfamiliar with this, give thanks, brother. In 711, 711, that is so interesting because, y'all remember 711 in Barbados? Yeah, for those who know, who don't know. There's, and even the poster for that event, again, that's going back a few years. It seems that people have forgotten, but all of us ain't forget. And so if you want to know more about that, go look it up, go do your research. Now, there's a lot of talk about Moors in the media. And yes, there's always a group of individuals that take a name, run with it, and do all kind of madness. But then there are those who are, what it is. And so it takes all kinds. But you got to do your own research, do your own reading, not pick up somebody else's interpretation of what they read. And truth and in fact, that's that brother or that's that sister's understanding of what they read and what they were exposed to. It doesn't mean that you will get the same reading when the same revelation when you go read it, or the same interpretation. You might be given a different revelation because of perhaps who you are and the purpose that you have to serve. Because remember, we don't work here on earth. We're on assignment. Everybody have their role to play, So they ain't no amount of money they can pay you to fulfill divine assignments. You just got to do what you came here to do. And so do your research, family. Go look into it. Because in reality, that is part of your story. Whether we want to acknowledge it or not is a different conversation. But this is also a factual event. We did conquer Europe because that's what we do. We go, we build. We are builders. We were always builders. This idea that we were in the Caribbean wearing grass skirts, and that is such a, that's why they brought military. If the folks were so primitive, they would no need to bring the military. But they had to because it was we were at odds. We were at war, Not so much for the folks we think, you know. We gotta read this thing a little deeper. Black nobility ruled Europe, or what we call Europa, at that time. Yeah, yeah, Big Ben, huh? So, see what's going on here. The colonizer is who named the continent Africa. Well, I get that a lot, and I don't even like I have a different understanding of what we call it, what they call it, and so I've heard different renditions of that. I'll tell you what we do know is that continent is there, and we can connect with it through spirit and through flesh and create our own. And at some point, if we choose to, we can rename it or restore it, the name, because the original name is known to some degree. And I say to some degree because again, there's knowledge that is not always out there, but is still known. And we could question it, we could go research it, but we could only base on what we have available. And so that's the position we're in. To answer the initial question of the caption, the people always own the land, but the people give it away unknowingly and by way of deception from treacherous members of the House of House of Assembly, the House of Assembly, House of Assembly, Assembly. All right, House of the Assembly or House of Assembly, because the preposition is interesting, because I would think there should be a "the" between there. House of the Assembly, that's where they assemble. House of Assembly, kind of. See, the problem is they know, right? They put it right in your face, and you don't have a clue what it is. We think we know when we don't. But that already has roads that how they got to Wetch Mahal, right? I'm telling you, it was crazy. I always wondered about that. It's one of those old original homes. It's still in well kept. Well, whoever owns it, they maintain it. It's a plantation house. It looks like. I'll probably drive by and do some footage one of these days. If they spun the correct narrative, that we would never be in the position we have found ourselves in. So they gave us a narrative to keep us submissive to them psychologically. That is a truth, man. That is an absolute truth. And that's why we find ourselves in a position that, like you said, we find ourselves in. So then how do you undo that? We got ministers that crossing the floor. Yeah, I'm going straight at it. That say that they had an epiphany by the grace of God and whatever. And they, at this point, they want to speak and represent the good men and women of Barbados. And that's a beautiful thing. But there's some questions that we should be asking. And I see the individual, Mr. Thorne, on a particular platform, the Marcia Week Show. I've seen it on there several occasions, and I'm not suggesting that he come on politically incorrect. This is a totally different platform, because we're going to have questions for him. We ain't going to be discussing mere monthly spending. We already know that every politician does the exact same thing, and that is why after 5, maybe 10, or after the exception 15 years, the people say enough is enough. But the people say that because they start to get restless, and then the plantocracy said, okay, enough, they got to pull you out. So then they pull out the puppet, the servant that they put in place, because that's what it is. And then basically they let it run again, because you always got to give the people hope. So what Ralph Thorne does at this point is give you hope to some degree, not much, but a little bit. And the reason why I say a little bit, because I am yet to hear discussion on policies and procedures. I'm not even, don't get me wrong, I'm not waiting to hear it. But I like to think it's almost like advice. I'm giving him advice, man. Like he might need a new advisor. Because if you go into the people as the people, you can go and do a little more than just play the emotional, financial issue. That card, the spending, and all the money missing. And then folks get, yeah, we need that money back. And they get tied into that. The reality is you get in there tomorrow, you're going to have to raise bus fare. And that's just a fact. In fact, I'll tell you what. If I was in Mr. Ralph Thorne's shoes, which I would never be, I'm a 12. I doubt very much he's going to fill that. Nevertheless, the first thing I would do, speaking of land, right? I'm telling you, man, Boy, I tell you, man, it'd be a different day in Barbados. I telling you. Yeah, the land income tax will be abolished automatically. Like we don't income tax is just a done deal. That's a done deal. That's just a done deal. The land, we're gonna rediscuss that. But here's the thing about Barbados and politicians. They come out and they give you hope and they talk all kind of stuff, usually about what the administration, the current they spend 90% of the time telling you about the administration and the wrongs that they're committed. What you very seldom hear is what is the plan for the future? How we plan to deal with this issue with violence, for example, with the youths. And we have individuals like Miss Willoughby, and I hate to say this in this order, this manner. Let me just go get it real quick. Because I showed one the other night, and as fate would have it, they had the unmitigated gall to go back and do another one. I mean, let me see if I can find it. I do have it lined up, so don't worry. Let me get it. Let me just go ahead and see if I can find it. I couldn't believe it. I just want to point out one thing here, man. Like this thing is so serious. Family, this thing's serious here. This thing is serious. Let me go ahead and give you this one here. Hang on. Yeah. I could probably share it from here, but I'll just share the screen. I'll just go ahead and share the screen. I'll go ahead and just share the screen. Yeah, there you go. Let's share that one. Let me do the full size. So I played this the other night, and we talked about it to some degree. And let me let this, I'm just going to sit this right here for you good folks. Let me just sit this right here for you good folks. For you good folks. Let me just sit this right here. Let me just sit this right here. Let me just add this to the screen. And I wanted this, we need to listen carefully, because the reason I'm playing this, because we got to realize that the individuals who are holding the gates or the control of this situation do not really fully understand. I'm not saying this to put any bring any unnecessary attention to the office of, well, Miss Cheryl Willoughby and whatever. I don't remember the name of the office, what they do, the criminal justice something or the other. I'm trying to point out what is clearly obvious. They do not know what to do. Let me let her tell you. Hang on.
Of the Criminal Justice Research and Planning Unit, Cheryl Willoughby, a former police officer,
Yeah, I didn't even know she was a former police officer, but I mean, come on, it makes sense.
Sees a need for the police to maintain close contact with the schools in their community.
Okay, so you see this, you see the play coming. You can see where they're going with this. They just all of a sudden you're seeing these episodes about the streets, the blocks, schools, young men at risk. We want to be able to spot the at-risk youths. We want to be able to see the at-risk youths and identify these children and kind of connect the dots and get the police now involved with them as early as possible in the schools. Well, the question is, who exactly owns the land of Barbados, right? Do you think, and this is just a question I'm going to throw out there first before I let this play, do you think there's a correlation between individuals who are committing crime, land ownership, and poverty in Barbados? Do you think there's a connection between those two? I mean, I could even throw more in the blender and add poor education. We boast about ours, but it's not a one size fit all, you know. Like there's no such thing as one size fit all unless you got elastic in it. The school system doesn't have elastic. It's rigid and it's strict. This is it, full stop. So if you don't fit in, then you're going to fall out. Who exactly own the land? Because there must be a relationship between those who have that don't find themselves and their children in this position and those who have not.
because it's at the schools where early signs of deviance become apparent.
In 1985, right through to about 1995, when Honorable Jordan was the Commissioner of Police, we saw community policing as one of the strategies that was at the forefront of policing in Barbados. We saw community police officers in schools, and they were able to feedback information to myself. At that time, I was the sergeant in charge of the juvenile liaison scheme. So information was able to be fed back to me where I could target those youngsters that they saw within the schools who were having problems with their teachers, who were stealing at school and so on. So we need to have that so that police officers can play a more intimate role in liaising with community members, going into the schools, liaising with teachers, so that even violence within our schools can be addressed and they can identify at-risk students within the schools so that that information can be fed back to the social agencies.
Man, it pains me to hear that, because I know for a fact, they talk about research, because her office deal with statistics and research. We probably going into majority of the schools in Barbados, interact with countless blocks and what they call blocks, individuals and whatnot. I'm telling you firsthand, right? Like sending the police in is not the solution here. You talking about? I personally think they want to put officers in our schools deliberately to try to see if they can bring back that level of fear that people have, would have had at one point in time back in the days. You know, you see a police officer, somebody say, "Go call the police." People start to fall in line quick. Now these youths, like that don't nobody like like nobody trying to hear that. They don't have that authority that they used to think they had. They don't have that. The youths are not afraid of them. This generation and a few other generations combined, they're not afraid. We're not afraid any, and more. That's that generation have gone past, Miss Willoughby, and that ain't coming back. You can't use the people who these youths see terrorizing their own people, because you told bringing in the police, you act like it's a benevolent society. And you know full well that between the ski masks and the bulletproof vests and everything else and the weaponry and what these youths seeing, that they not thinking along them lines, man. They don't see them as people that they could sit and reason and approach. It's a fear factor, not the fear of them, but recognizing that they don't have fear for them, or to put it more mildly, you think that these youths right now, by having police come and they, fancy shirts and looking all clean and stuff and having in a room talk to the youth, don't work. Let them come in the same classroom with the ski masks on, bulletproof vests, with the guns out, with they all blues, whatever color they is wear, and their numbers 20 deep, and go into class and we come to talk to one of the youths about this thing, man. You know what I mean? You put that kind of trauma in these youths in any part of the world, in Barbados specifically, you pulling a pin on a grenade, because you might put the fear of God in some, but what you want to do is unleash the beast in others. So when we see the youths doing certain things in society right now, almost like they can't even explain, like in broad daylight on a Sunday morning, it used to be church in Barbados, they didn't know church no more. I bet that's how the Jews felt when Christianity started to take over. We used to be in the synagogue on Fridays and the Sabbath, and now we go to church on the Sundays. I'm sure they felt there was a change coming. Well, guess what? Change is already here, man. The youths just want opportunities. The youths want to be heard. They want to see that things are happening to benefit them. They look around, they see their parents who ain't got no land, struggling daily. They see the same police policy enforcers of the plantation, harassing people in the blocks. They say you got a chance, you can smoke marijuana in Barbados now, but if you get catch, you got to pay a fine. Welcome, the blocks seem to be getting raided more often. A lot of youths getting fines left, right, and center. Like, it don't make sense, because if they ain't got no money to pay the fine, how they gonna pay the penalty and go to prison? It's a scam. Why? Because they don't have any land. We call it my block. This is my block, but in reality, even the block they're sitting on don't even belong to them. It's a myth in their minds. They're misguided by individuals who themselves have been misguided. So according to the scripture, we have the blind leading the blind. And therein lies the problem. So who exactly owns the land in Barbados? The baobab tree in Queen's Park was brought here before the park was created, and no one knows the age of that tree. Well, that's not true, Sean. They said it. They say it right there on the placard, right by the tree. They say that this tree is over 1,000 years old. Yes, so they do know how old it is. It could be anything over 1,000 years. So the minimum is 1,000. It could be 2, it could be 3, it could be 5, it could be 20,000 years. The point I want to make is it there. Now they want us to believe that this tree floated across the Atlantic Ocean, but on a lagoon and landed there in the middle of the park and just decided to germinate, because that might have been swamp area at the time. All right, let me go for that. I don't know how it would float from the Atlantic. I figure if it came from the Atlantic, it would end up on the East Coast. I don't see how it end up on the Southwest coast, because you want to be truthful, Bridgetown is Southwest. In fact, if you want to be real, if you want to get real serious about this, like that don't even make no type of sense. But anyhow, they said it. But and that's supposed to be the oldest one, because there are a few baobab trees in Barbados left. I'm sure there were more, but they might have removed them for obvious reasons. That tree is indigenous to Africa. That's where it is found. The irony is that there's a baobab tree also in Trinidad. Ironically, is located also in Queen's Park. In fact, there's also a baobab tree in St. Lucia when I revisited. And strangely enough, it's also located in the middle of, ironically, Queen's Park. And there's one in St. Vincent. I ain't gonna even go no further. The point I want to make, right, family, is that the narrative, it ain't what it is, man. Country is sovereign, colony is okay. Country is sovereign, colony is of the country. Now, this is interesting. This is interesting. The country is sovereign, colony is of the country. You may have to explain that a little further, my brother, because you're saying that the country is sovereign. Well, in reality, the country cannot be sovereign. The country, they could say it's sovereign, but it can't be sovereign. Sovereign meaning supreme in a sense, but the country cannot be sovereign. They say it's a sovereign country. It's a sovereign country. But if the country Barbados was created, so the colony is of the country, but that's on the other way around. The country was birthed out of a colony. So put it in perspective. I'm not sure if that's what you were saying, but the colony didn't come from the country. The country is of the colony, but the colony is unlawful to start with. So if you're going to start a country, you'd have to first make lawful that which was originally unlawful. So you can't take what was unlawful, wash it, and make it lawful. If I offer you a glass of water and I decide to urinate in it, like I piss in it, and I give it to you, if I decide to add sugar to it or Kool-Aid, no amounts of Kool-Aid and sugar going to take that piss out of it. No matter how much Kool-Aid or how much sugar I put in that, it going to still got it in. You can't make something that was unlawful. You can't ceremonially, ritually turn it. The Bible said what was meant for evil can never be meant for good. So when they created this thing called a country in 1966, when they gave birth, when the founding father of independence gave birth to this country coming out of a colony, understand what that, family, get the understanding I'm showing you. Understand what that meant. What that meant. The illusion of inclusion. Because prior to that, you knew that you was outside. There was no question about it. It's a colony. It's us against you. You just the labor force. Hence, they had labor parties. Several of them. But somehow now we dwindle down to 2 on independence. Sounds like a merger and consolidation. But anyhow, I will let Caswell say it. Yeah, he said it. So, cooperation. Okay, we getting there. Somebody wants a shirt. I can see that. That's why history the way it is, because people take things and run with it, just spreading lies. And well, not doing your own research, not looking into things, not putting yourself in a space where you get the downloads and the ancestors whisper in your ear. I think that's also important when dealing with self. Alfred, history is someone's interpretation of events. The victor always writes the history. Yep, seriously. She said she might some garb. No, we ain't gonna bash Miss Willoughby here. I think, well, again, I don't agree with what she's suggesting at all. I don't think that that's wise, and I would like to think that with all the statistics that they would have collected over the years, well, if they're the ones that plan, if this is the planning committee and she's been there for a long time, you just heard what she said. If that is the case, then the plans that they put in place would make you think that they kind of create the circumstances that we're seeing, because can the office of Sheriff Willoughby outline to the people of Barbados what prior plans did y'all put in place to curb, I don't want to use the word arrest, but correct rather, this clearly growing issue that has been going on for over 2 decades under your watch? Can y'all do an episode? I hope somebody send this to her or whoever. Do an episode, not on the blocks. Don't go back to the blocks. Go into your office and pull up your staff. Go into your filing cabinets and show Barbadians the different plans you all implemented over the years, and give us the statistics on the success rate of those said plans. This thing is going too far. It's about time that people who are supposed to be in a position of accountability start being held accountable. Y'all collecting salaries every single month from the people of the same good people of Barbados, the same people that got the young fat for the same communities that y'all identified as the trouble areas. They pay taxes too. You take their money too. Is they mothers that out there holding their bellies for their sons, man, and fathers and the nephews and brothers and sisters and aunts, grandparents, neighbors, associates, wives, husbands. And what's the outcome? Y'all implementing plans, and the plans ain't working. They're not working. They ain't even working. They ain't working. So show Barbados in an episode, maybe episode 7 or 8 or 9. I don't know how many episodes y'all have, but show Barbados what plans y'all were doing. Maybe some Barbadians will give you some insight and some advice on how to fix the issue. Just y'all may have to just sit down and listen for a change. Y'all collecting statistics and writing books based on the statistics y'all collected and getting enriching yourselves. I mean, come on, man. Y'all part of the problem. That's all I got to tell y'all. You're part of the problem. And that's just being held accountable, because that is a reality. You don't need no police in the schools talking to the youths. We don't need that. That ain't gonna fix the problem. I guarantee you. Remember we talked about this? You know what, man? One of these days, man, anyhow, I can leave that alone. Better don't with my little maroons, because that's a different ball game. Man, I ain't even touching that. I didn't even show it to the maroons, man, for sure. Peace in Islam, man. Lack versus dependency is their strategy to keep you in line. The future they have envisioned is of no benefit to the people. They want robots to keep themselves rich. Man, I can say it no better. In fact, at this point, they do have the robots they're working on. So if they got robots they're working on, you know what that say about the people, right? Family, this thing real. And we got to start asking questions. Who exactly owns the land of Barbados? We were told for years it's Crown land. And so we build these projects, areas, housing projects, and stick a bunch of people in them all over the place and sat back and watch. So we can identify the trouble areas. Why is it that most of these government housing areas which you would think is the best place in Barbados to live. Why? Because it's managed by the government, are some of the worst places in Barbados with the most crime and most violence. Let me talk facts, family. So Ms. Cheryl Willoughby in the office of the, Department of Justice, whatever, plan, whatever. Like, really though, outline the plans in the episode, what y'all have done. It'd be interesting to see what y'all have done, because I suspect, right, that the plans you rolling out is what's creating the problem in the first place. That's what I suspect. And I think that somebody need to hold y'all office to accountability, because I know for a fact firsthand that when we came to your office with a full plan of what we discovered and what we realized to assist the youth of this nation, y'all shut it down. Like, nah, we don't need that. Yes, and the Attorney General, Mr. Adriel Braffett at the time, for the DLP or whatever party that is, we remember, he had no time to meet us. They heard that we had guests from overseas. Oh, wait, they got guests? Yeah, we meet them. Yeah, y'all kidding me, man. And the thing is this, y'all would commit an offense, and then when somebody react to your offense, you take offense to the reaction. It's crazy. Y'all psychologically ill, man. I'm telling you. Do an episode on that. Let's see how we go. Let's see how that one turns out. Let's see how that turns out. You know what I mean? Let's see how that goes. Barbadians are waiting to see that one. And one of the other things I want to say is that when we talk about land in Barbados, I put on a program the other night, but I put the news clip on. The government want to now seize what they call abandoned derelict property. Let me use that word instead. It is, when you see that happening, understand what's really happening here, family. We need to understand what's happening. It is not what you think it is, man. Because like I said, and I think the brother said it earlier, and I want to revisit that really quick. He said it, country is sovereign, colony is of the country. Well, I like to say country can never be sovereign because the country was birthed out of the colony, and the colony was never sovereign. So the colony that was never sovereign cannot give birth to a sovereign country. It is emphatically impossible by any stretch of the imagination and any law that's on earth, because the colony, by definition, is a crime. The colony, by definition, is the admission of a crime. Yeah, it was a colony. To say that is to say it was a crime. Why? Because it was a colony. And by definition, a colony is it's like saying you have a concentration camp. We have a concentration camp. Okay. Family, we got to get real with this, man. And again, going back to he who shall not be mentioned that is mentioned, Mr. Thorne, I don't know if you're watching, if somebody's going to call you, because you know people call. As Emmanuel says, something phones is get crazy. But let me say something to you again. If you truly about the people that you said you sat there and you saw things going on and you wanted to come forward and then you realized how serious this was when you crossed over. You didn't realize before when you realized. And I don't know how you didn't realize before you crossed over. I mean, you wasn't paying attention to social media. You wasn't paying attention to the streets. You wasn't paying attention to people. You crossed over for your own reasons, your own personal reasons, not for the cry of the people. You didn't hear the cries of the people. Because I hear the cries of the people all day, every day. All day, every day. But you cross, according to you. My point I want to make, Mr. Thorne, is that there are things you know that you don't talk about. Tell the people of Barbados the truth. If you are sincere in what you're looking to do, tell Barbadians the truth. You always go on a particular platform, go on that platform and tell the host and everybody else the truth. That's the 2025 challenge to any politician who telling you as a people that they come to represent you. Don't tell when they come telling you what the other ones are doing, how much they're stealing and borrowing and all that other corruption stuff. Tell them we know that. Politician, that's what we want to do. Tell me the truth. Speak that which you yourself may have taken an oath not to speak. Tell the people the truth, man. Tell them about their birthrights. Tell them about the insurance scam. Tell them about the land fraud. Tell them how you plan to restore the land to the people. Have that conversation. Tell them how you plan to investigate how the whole administration governed COVID at the time. You ain't got to get on no conspiracy. Tell them you plan to investigate. Tell them how you plan to investigate it. Tell them how you plan to resolve the issue of food insecurity in Barbados. Tell them how you plan to harvest water for the benefit of those who can't always pay the water bill. These private PPP, private partner, what do you call it? Private public partnerships, like the Fairchild Street bus terminal. I got a question. How comes the government own, according to they own the bus terminals in Barbados, but the bus drivers who have the private vans that working in conjunction with the government with those little triangle stickers, how come the drivers who operate those buses have to pay to use the Fairchild Street bus terminal, but the other drivers and all the other terminals that use the other terminals don't got to pay nothing? How come they got to pay in Fairchild Street? The only thing I could come up with is that Fairchild Street is not owned entirely by the government. It's like the oil company. It's like Barbados oil company. They only use the name to throw you off. They only use the name to throw you off. That is not owned 100% by the administration. Or sorry, the people of Barbados don't own that. They don't get no reward out of that. None. They don't see none of that paper. That's all private. Private public partnership. So we don't even know who's these private partners that's involved. They don't ever tell you that. Mr. Thorne, tell the people the truth. That's how you win the people. Just tell them the truth, man. We ain't got to talk with the spending, because in reality, when you get there, you're going to do this. If you get there, I ain't going to even say when, because I don't have a clue. The plantocracy will decide who they want there when that time comes, because the votes are only a census to determine how many people in Barbados are conscious about what's going on and how many people support. So y'all would know which person to put in play to win people over or push people away. Just a census. If your vote meant so much, then trust me, that would give you power. But if you ain't got no power because you ain't got no land, you ain't got no resources, you ain't got nothing, how you got power? I will tell you this much. What time is it, man? I don't plan to stay here long. That was my, I got this other video. I got to play this one. Let me switch this one. Who exactly owns the land in Barbados? Having said that, I said I was going to bring this to you, and I'm going to bring it to you. Not because I want to, but because I have to. So this is where we at right now. Our prime servant. And I said because she runs the corporation. She runs the country that was birthed from the colony that was unlawful to start with. So if the colony was unlawful, by the way, Mr. Thorne is an attorney at law. And according to what I see when he's on Parliament KC, Ms. Motley is also an attorney at law. From what I see, she's calling herself a senior counsel. Senior. So these aren't your regular folk. These are folks that are seasoned in the art of the British Accreditation Registry. Very well seasoned. So they know. And so my question is, how could they not then know the law that governs the unlawful occupation of this particular territory that is being called now Barbados? Because prior to them calling it Barbados, it wasn't called Barbados. I understand that. You steal my car and paint it over, don't mean that you turn it from black to white. It don't change the fact that it is my car you carry. You feel me? That does not change. So let me just play this clip. I want to just highlight two things here real quick. I want you to listen carefully. And by the way, Miss Mia Amore Montley, prime servant, it's important that the people of this godly nation recognize why we have 12 months of festivities, as some would call it. We say we gathering. We were supposed to do this in COVID. COVID came, changed things, so it couldn't unfold the way it was. And here we are again. Now, if COVID and what happened was a test run, and here we are. The idea is to bring people home. I'm not sure exactly why that is, but we gathering. If we're coming home, according to the message here, the objective then is just partying, or are we coming home to settle the affairs of the estate?
Friends all, Happy New Year. As we celebrate the beginning of 2025, I do so with complete excitement and, yes, great expectations. This year...
Wait, hold on a minute. I just got to say something, Miss Martley. I just want to play this. Forgive me on this, but...
Friends all, Happy New Year. As we celebrate the beginning of 2025, I do so with complete excitement.
You say complete excitement. Look, man, I don't doubt you excited. I think you were very excited, quite frankly. I think right now, though, that Barbadians are in for such a surprise, right? That I don't know, man. I don't know.
And yes, great expectations.
Great expectations.
This year, I believe, stands to be one.
By the way, that term was first said to us by His Imperial Majesty when he visited Barbados. He said, Barbados, great is expected of you. I don't know if you are aware of that, Miss Motley, but when he spoke that, he was speaking to all Barbadians throughout the corridors of time. The time is now, because great is expected from all of us. Barbadians are that that group of unique individuals that we are collective as one. And, although we may not see it now, a lot of things that are happening, what we consider negative in the society, with the youth and other individuals, are orchestrated by people in high places. Do not fool yourself and think otherwise. So don't mind the policy enforcers talking about they're going to come out and they're going to clamp down on this and that. And so, yeah, we understand. We hear that all the time. But they don't clamp down on the level of corruption that goes on. They don't clamp down on the other crimes that happen around here that no one even talks about. Taxation by itself is a crime unto itself. The Attorney General himself should probably be in cuffs all now. In fact, again, integrity, he's supposed to step down. I mean, he's supposed to step down as a matter of just sheer integrity. Completely fail. I mean, you have all these resources and have done absolutely nothing. But we're gathering.
One of the greatest our country has ever seen. In 2024, we came together to lay the groundwork for success with hard work and determination. We will continue to do so. But in 2025, we're going to start to see the results of it. This year, we also will have the privilege of welcoming all Bajans from near and far to come long home to celebrate all things Barbados with We Gather in 2025. We started this in 2020 and it didn't quite work. We had plans and God had plans, and we have emerged from those things 5 years later, stronger and better.
That's right. That's right. You all had plans and God had plans. I like the fact that I look, man, I love the fact that you distinguish, although juxtapose, the difference between man and God. God also said, my ways are not your ways. My thoughts are not your thoughts. And we have all come out of this stronger, because 5 years ago, I wasn't doing this. I was doing this on the ground, running around out there in the streets, helping people doing work. So to be at, by the way. But here we are now on a whole different level. We all come out of that much stronger. But here's the best part.
We've lost a few, and we will spare our thoughts for them, even as we celebrate 2025.
Everybody was affected by this whole COVID situation. I call it a situation because it was a shit situation. Everybody was touched, family, direct, indirect. Sometimes we knew, didn't know. I heard a teacher was driving and somehow drove her car into a pole, and I don't think she succumbed to the injuries of the accident. I suspect that something happened prior to her losing consciousness before she went into the pole. Thank goodness the youth in the back seat was safe. or the other youth in the vehicle. I don't know where they were sitting, but safe. And it's unfortunate. We've seen a lot of that, a lot of road accidents. People are doing different things and having, I don't know. But what I do know is that we were all affected. But we gathering.
But with this special year-long celebration, we're celebrating you. Yes, you. For without
You talking about me? You celebrating me? Come on the program, let me talk then.
our people, Barbados is nothing. And you see, I am aware of the sacrifices that you have had to make in the last few years.
I want y'all to listen to this carefully here. I don't know if y'all listening into this.
But with this special year-long celebration, we're celebrating you. Yes, you. For without our people, Barbados is nothing.
Let me say that again, man. Tell us that again.
Yes, you. For without our people, Barbados is nothing.
Without the people, right? Barbados, the country that was birthed out of the colony, the illusion of inclusion, is nothing. Well, let me see if I get this here clear. Hold on. Let me see if I wrap my head around this. Let me see if I can wrap my locks up here and see what's going on. So you telling me, Miss Montley, that without the people, Barbados, the country, is nothing. Family, I want y'all to read this, man. Read between the lines, man. If the people, if minus the people, the country cannot exist, then it would mean that the people is the country. Correct? Okay. So when they talk the crown land and republic, crown, I don't know which one it is today, it could be any of the two. State land, would it then implicit in that statement would be that the people is the crown and the people is the state? Because if the people is the state and the people is the crown, well, that would mean that the people is who exactly own the land, not in, but of Barbados. And if the people own the land, then how come they're struggling and suffering? So it means that the administrators, that the people, the owners, the landlords left in charge as trustees and executrix have mismanaged the estate of the people. And if these, especially these lawyers, we got a few lawyers in Barbados that, they are true to their oath. Them is pirates. And they're true to that. So clearly, so basically what you're saying then is that these lawyers, these pirates who have been put in a position, who put themselves or pretending to be the trustees of the estate, post emancipation and paying out the plantocracy or the planter class, it would mean then basically that they have literally stolen your birthright, your inheritance. So if they're stealing your inheritance, then how do we restore that then, family? How do, Miss Montley, you told me gathering. How can we gather and have a conversation about restoration of stolen land? We don't mind the part. Hold on. Let me wait. I hope I ain't going too far.
Barbadian. That old Satchmore song, I Am By Us. I want you to imagine a year where every parish comes in you.
Right.
Yes, you.
There you go.
For without our people, Barbados is nothing. And you see, I am aware of the sacrifices that you have had to make in the last few years.
You mean the last few centuries?
And we feel more than ever, this is our time to start to celebrate each other. Celebrate you one by one by one by one. You see, at its core, We Gather in 2025 is really about us as a people. It is a celebration designed to inspire not just national pride in all Barbadians, but also individual pride, to create the environment for us to create the best version of ourselves and indeed the best version of Barbados for us, by us.
No, if I didn't know no better, right? If I don't know, let me say this though, right? I would like to add one of the to this agenda you have. Don't get me wrong. I ain't got whatever y'all planning to do. You're going to do anyhow, unless God intervene, which is a possibility. How about we gather to discuss some of the things I just brought up, like redistribution of the land in this beautiful, beautiful Barbados, gem of the Caribbean Sea. Yes, I'm talking to you. Yes, you. Let me have that conversation. And if nobody else want to bring it up and address it with you, let's have that conversation right here on the platform. Plug in. Or do we gathering? Because there's some things that we want to get clear before we gather. We got to be clear on where we gathering. One, why we gathering. Two, where we going after we gather. After we gather, my question is, are we going back to the same situation you talk about being the best version? How about Barbados, the country, become her best version and give the people back what she stole? How is that? How about Barbados, the colony, now called the country, give back the people what was taken from them? How that sound? Let me gather and discuss that. Mr. Thorne, what's your thoughts on that? You could, the number on the screen somewhere there. Hold on, folks. If you're now tuning in for the first time or, you're visiting, I repeat whenever. Here's the deal. Support the program, PayPal, whatever, your choice. WhatsApp, though. Telephone number 246-838-8253. If I'm not correct, feel free to correct me. My number is there. You can call in the program while I'm doing the live. All folks that got a lot to say about me, look, right here, call. If you feel that way, call. We talk. Don't be disruptive, though. Don't be rude. We don't want to insult people and that kind of stuff. But if you're wrong, you're wrong. Just a question. There are a lot of things we got to address as a people. I suspect that if we focus enough on what we are looking to achieve, like Ms. Motley said, this is the time for introspection. As far as being an individual, I don't know if we will ever be individuals. We are connected cosmically and consciously, universally. We are connected. So although we are a whole, we are the part of a whole. And so there's no individual, which is to divide, but and divide you all. Anyhow, I'm playing with it. So I don't want to get too deep into the message. I can go into this message a lot deeper. And I'm telling you, it will be an eye-opener because politicians do double speak. And this, not again, not an indictment. She is a woman in politics. Therefore, she has the ability to do that. Whether she's conscious of it or not, it's another entirely different story. And it's a possibility that maybe at times she's not conscious of it because after all, she's been in politics as a woman for so long. After a while, some things you repeat it. You are what you repeatedly do. You see what I'm saying? So Miss Motley may not be conscious of some of the things she's doing under the impression she's doing the right thing. Whether she's working on behalf of the plantocracy or otherwise, that's not my point. My point is somebody may have to make Miss Motley also conscious of the things she's not conscious of. And if nobody else has the ability to do so, the number is on the screen. Like I said, you know how to reach me, man. Let me have a conversation and let's see really and truly where this thing going, because it's not about politics, it's about people. And anybody right now coming out telling you about politics, oh, politicians did this, they're looking to put this in place, looking to do this, looking to do that, to give this money, but they're looking to empower you as a people, your family, your community, your constituency, your parish. Man, look, man, no matter how much gift paper you wrap manure in, no matter how much gift paper, how many bowls you wrap manure in, it is still manure. You said the age of the tree is an estimate. At best, it's a guesstimate. But I love this, Pam. The color of the soil is the clue who land it is. Facts. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's a big one for sure, for sure, for sure. Despite the fact history has been whitewashed and stolen, we of color are the originals and we were everywhere. Facts. Facts. I love it. The corporation, not country. They're interchangeable. They mean the same thing. They mean the same thing. I try to tell you all already. A king does control a kingdom. An empire does control the empire. Well, it's only obvious who control the country. I hope my mom ain't watching here. Yeah, hi mom. If you're watching, I gotta give my mom a shout out. I don't normally do that, you know, but she claims to be my number one fan. She says, that's the support. That's what keeps me going, man. When your own, you know, see the vision and they support you. You know, some come, some go. That's how it be. But you know, you just bless up everyone, man. They say bless up, be blessed, whatever. Once you, wherever level you at, work with the words, man. Just be, you know, love and light all day, every day, man. Straight up, forever shining, man. We build champion when they kill champion. He said, hold on, but you did not answer about the legality or illegality. You answered. Well, actually, who exactly owns the land? So I am replying, oh, to that specific question, man, no, don't do that now. Because you know, you going on a whole different road here now, and I'm gonna take you on that road. You said legality and legality versus illegality. But guess what? I use the term lawful and unlawful deliberately. I didn't go over the word legal or illegal in terms of legality. The reason I didn't do that, Mr. Roach, is because all legal is, right? And I want you to get this. This is why the system and the criminal justice system is why it works how it works. Those two words. The truth and the fact is, anything that is considered legal, like they'll tell you have a legal firearm, you have a legal license, whatever. Whatever they tell you is legal basically means that they have given you permission to do something that is otherwise illegal. I'm going to say that again. All the word legal, that's why slavery was legal, but it wasn't lawful. You get it? So although it was legal, it still wasn't lawful because you can't interchange the two. See, this is a different conversation. So that's why I put those two words on purpose. And that's the language that a lot of our family and a lot of our people don't know yet. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And this is why we find ourselves where we are, because we lack the knowledge. Why? Because those who have the knowledge ain't giving it to you. Those who know it ain't telling you. But you can see who benefits. Look around you, see who benefiting. Hustle hard. Them folks ain't hustling. They benefiting from the fact that you don't know. Ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is expensive. So legal. So, for example, they said a guy, a businessman in Barbados, was sentenced to paying $30,000 for a couple of bullets they found and a warrant. They searched his house. A businessman. He once had a licensed firearm, meaning he had a legal firearm at one time. He said it was stolen from him in a home invasion some time back. I'm going to assume then that he never, you know, purchased another. I figure you always had a license to firearm, you always have it, but apparently you got to update it every year, or I don't know how it works. So he didn't. Well, the point is, they did a warrant. They found this in some safe in his house, and the judge charged him $30,000, $10,000 forfeit, and the rest by the end of the year or a year. Otherwise, you got to go to prison for like 9 years or some crazy number or something like that. I don't know. But again, he had a legal firearm at one point. It was legal. So he had permission to do that, which at this point, where he doesn't have the permission anymore, it becomes illegal. So now he's in trouble. Same man. So all legal is permission to do what is otherwise considered illegal. That's why I use the word lawful and unlawful, because although some things are legal, it is definitely not lawful. And that's the difference. But that's language for the legalese crew. As you stated, however, Barbados was a colony of England. The legality of it, or a natural justice of it, is that England stole land they are not indigenous to. Well, captured it. Yes, they stole it. So they stole it and built a colony. They stole it by having, well, they first entered they stole it, but not initially. They entered a contract with the original people that were here. That's why they have a constitution. The Constitution basically is the contract that they would have had. Because don't forget, before it was a constitution, it was called it'll come to me. It'll definitely come. Because it wasn't the Constitution at first. It wasn't called the Constitution at first. In fact, I have a copy of it, and that term eludes me at this point. Maybe it'll come to me before the program is off, and I'll give it to you. But then eventually they made it the Constitution in 60 something or the other. But prior to that, it wasn't a constitution. It was basically a contract, the treaty between the two. Those who were originally here and those who wanted to occupy the space to conduct business. It was almost like a lease agreement, you know what I'm saying? And that's basically what it was at the time. So what they did, like in St. Vincent, Yarraman, they got the folk, they celebrated, they got the folks drunk. And when they were drunk, they deported them. So y'all got this gathering parties and thing going on. Family, just be careful and be wise, man. That's what I tell you. Be wise, man. Be wise. But that's what it was. It wasn't always a constitution. It became that afterwards, and then that's how they stole it at that point. Prior to that, it was an arrangement. The land and its original man and woman were sovereign, as they are all natural to their origin. Facts. That's where that sovereign comes in. Barbados could never be sovereign. It can never be sovereign. Barbados, by definition, is a corporation. It's a country that was birthed out of a colony that was created unlawfully. The hiring people from Africa and India as cheap labor to train the artificial intelligence. Man, we can do a night on that by itself. I'm working on getting a guest for that. That's going to be quite interesting, because if we realize if we only knew where they're at right now with this. Greetings, family. Greetings here. Calm down and leave out. Oh, man. Listen, I ain't see you in a while, man. Where you been? Good night, all. Jacqueline, I see you too. Greetings. People forget about Drax. Nah, they didn't forget about Drax. They did a test run and folks flare up, but they'll do some quiet closed door meetings, and you know how it's gonna go. Tim, I see you, family. What's the weather like your neck of the woods, man? Pedro said, you telling we self-government and studying the name not mentioned. I'm not sure if I connect the dots with the two. I'm not sure I connect the dots with the two. You're telling me self-government and studying the name not mentioned. The name not mentioned is you pray to the name that we shall not mention. He who should not be mentioned that is mentioned. No, the whole point was if the objective, because those who are conscious and those who are aware of what's going on is a different group to those Barbadians, your brothers and sisters who might not know what's going on, who might be beguiled by certain conversations that is directed towards feeding on their emotional string for the sole purpose of compliance. And by that I mean, if you keep telling people the government thieving money and carrying money and that's all they're focusing on, then why would I want to see that? Why would you want to see that? I think that's the major question, because I would like to think that if you're authentic, then you bring some authenticity to the table to discuss the real matters that matter. You ain't got to point out the wrong somebody else doing. If that's the best you could do, that says a lot about you, Pedro. I'm just saying. That's just my 2 cents. Let me repeat myself, because it seems no one is listening. Mr. Roach, they listening. Trust me, they're listening. Oh, they definitely listening. I like this, Pam. We have no love of self. And that's part of the problem as well. That is indeed part of the problem. It said, let me repeat myself, because it seems no one is listening. These MPs as ministers are transferring public wealth, yours and mine, over to private interests, facts. And this discussion is not being had. Well, again, this is why I said what I said about he who should not be mentioned. He's on other platforms, but ain't nobody asking him these kind of questions. And nobody, in spite of the fact that there are other individuals on there who are some currently involved in other parties and some who were past veterans of some era that has passed and still think they really captured and they understand what's going on. Family, they're not asking these questions. And if I am on the outside, a layman to political affairs can see that. Imagine the ones that know the game. Come on, man. Come on, man. The circus is in town, man. That's all it is. Jacqueline said, Palm Stewart, that is a problem, self-hate instead of self-love. Facts, man. Facts, man. They work for the royal family, not for us. We are the royal family. That's the thing. So we get what we get because, we have not because we ask not. We don't even know. So because we don't know, that's why the youth behave how they behave. If we as a people can't teach our children, if we as men in the society, if we as men in the community can't navigate and direct the children, then they're going to do other things. Like I said, so to be out. I remember many young men in this country, lives has been saved because of the intervention of the program we ran. That's a fact. I see them all the time. They run up, they call young ladies as well. Many. So I know it works, but they felt they didn't need it. And that's basically the long and short of that. Prodigal Service Barbados, does the archive burning down have anything to do with what you are saying? Well, we don't know what was burned in the archive or what went missing or what happened, but in reality, yes, if it was documents pertaining to land and history and clear titles, then anybody could come forward and say anything right now because the evidence. Well, like the lady said a couple nights ago, Miss Ross, there's ways to trace it, but it's the same way there's ways to trace it, there's also ways to forge it as well. We validate them by voting. That's a fact, and that's why. Well, that's just it. The individuals who believe that they vote makes that difference. When they vote, this gives it validity. She makes me laugh. She is not on. She's not on planet. You're trying to say me and Martin is AI generated? Come on, man. Y'all are too much. Greetings, family. Greetings to you too. There's a lot of comments. Me is a family version of Captain Planet. She loves the environment. Y'all got to stop this, but let's invest billions of dollars in it. Oh, man. Y'all, listen. Y'all try and behave, man. Like, for real. As best you can. As best you can. Because, I mean, they could talk and talk and talk. We just got questions we would like answers to. I mean, not put anyone on the spot. It's not that kind of environment, not a debate. We have legitimate questions. Without the people's taxes, she means, look, taxation, man, this. She said she got to sweep them out. Miss Montley is doing what Miss Montley was hired to do. Not sweet enough. You know what? Y'all ain't gonna behave. Y'all not gonna behave. Let me see if I can get this here done, man. Somebody, oh man, y'all too much. They say, Pedro say, when the fox grinning like that, he ain't smiling. I'm not even sure which fox you're referring to. I don't know if you're referring to, you call him a smart, yes, fox. I don't, I just paused the video she was speaking, so that's not a still shot, not a photograph. Proverbs 21:11. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, as the rivers of water. He turneth it whichsoever he will. Yeah, I give thanks to that family. And I think she said it earlier that we have our plans and God has his plans as well. So we give thanks for universal guidance and direction always, man. Land registry doesn't appear to have these for land that exists, and there are living heirs. Where are the land registry documents gone? I got to honestly say this is a truth. This is a truth. This is a truth. And no matter how you splice it, people say that's just how it is. That's how we allow it to be. That's how we leave it. And people say, oh, well, what are you going to do? You know, oh, well, what are you going to do? No. It said, when the fox guard the hen house, don't expect the chicks to be safe. Recognize the fox looks after its own chicks. Facts. He said, yeah, living off the poor. We ought to celebrate the Most High and following his ways. We have been celebrating ourselves too long. Serious. God had plans. Open new graveyard and extended QEH basement for the day. Alex, man, shout to Alex, man. Alex, I don't know, man. You just different. She always sounding scripted and like she talking to kindergarten children. I hate that. Well, she's probably reading from a teleprompter, and so trying her best to, be as, convincing, I suppose, as she possibly can. I don't know. I think that, running a country must be a very arduous task. I'm sure it has its challenges, but just be yourself with the people, man. The people are gonna either love you or they're not. That's just the reality. Oh man. I am going to look. Let me see if I can go forward here. I've been trying to get. What time is it? Man, it's already almost 2 hours been on here. We don't be on that long. Come on, let me get out of here. Let me see if I can. The land still belongs to the crown. That is why you pay taxes. No, well, I agree. The land still belongs to the crown. I agree totally, and that's why you shouldn't pay taxes, because we are the crown. So you're paying yourself. The only difference is that we don't get that. There's no crown land outside of the people. Like she said, without the people, Barbados is nothing. We are the crown. We are the state. We are the ones. Until we get that and start having that conversation, we can always look to be saved by those who shall not be mentioned that we do mention. And those that we don't mention that we think should be mentioned, the reality is we, the people, have to recognize the power that we have and start to exercise that accordingly. Bottom line, somebody got to lead it. And that's just a reality. Somebody has to lead. And so if the people that are leading now aren't leading to your likings or leading you the direction you need to go, you might want to look for a new leader. And if there are other individuals who claim they want to lead you, well, that's not a problem. Ask them the questions that you need answered so you would know if you're going to the right direction. Ask them what direction they're going in. No matter what they tell you about what the other leader is or isn't doing, that's fine. We can discuss it all day long. Tell us where you plan to take the people. Don't focus the attention of the people on the mishaps, misfortune, well, I don't know if it's all that, but whatever the others are doing, wherever the others are leading the people, tell us where you're going to lead the people. I think that's what's important. But someone wake up and realize that. When you spit in this, and it land in your face. When you spit in the wind, once the people know who they are, they know they are not property and should act that way. I agree. Okay, and DPP, now we an acting judge. Hold on. How can a DPP now be an acting judge? What a conflict. I am not touching it. Alex, we got to get you back on here one of these, man. One of these nights, you got to come on and let's have a conversation, man. Different kind of conversation, man. To make someone legal to out of 3 white men in a room must agree to make it legal. To make something legal, 2 out of 3 white men in a room must agree to make it legal. There's some uncomfortable conversations that need to be had in Barbados. And until we can have them, and these ministers who claim they want to lead you are capable of having them, then nah. You say, Emmanuel, you are missing my point. Okay, hold on. I don't want to miss your point. Hold on a second. On your screen, the question is, who exactly owns the land of Barbados? It is that question I am responding. Okay, so hold on a minute, Colin. Let me see if we get this straight, because I don't want to miss your point. Give me a second. I know y'all don't want to see Miss Motley that long. So you're telling me that you answered. I get that you're answering the question. I get that who exactly owns the land of Barbados. I think you said it earlier. The land of Barbados. That's why I said of Barbados and not in Barbados. So to be clear at this point, your response was that it was the colony, it was the country owns the country. I don't recall it. I will have to go back and check it. But or you can repost what you meant. Put it in short form. Because I do get what you're saying, but that's why I said of and not in. The land in Barbados, ownership is a whole different conversation. Ownership goes back to the indigenous original folks. The corporation only leased it because you rent somebody's house. Don't mean you own it. No matter how long you live there, you only renting. You maintaining a contract. Even if you take the contract, rip it up, even if the owner had passed away, you took the contract and ripped it up. Never alerted, the family members and whatnot that their family had passed, and therefore they can pick up and continue from that. You made it seem after that you was always the owner. You made it seem that it was always yours under false pretense. Then you draft up a document and had a friend of yours in the registrar department that you owe your favor, stamp it and say, yeah, I just said that too. Well, guess what? That still don't make it yours. It might appear that way to those who don't know, but that might now be legal, but it isn't lawful. That was the point I was making, though, on Colin. Rastafari. Look, see, they said, no, I see a comment. Lawful comes from the light. Legal comes from the dark. Hence, okay, well, I didn't even I just clicked on it, Colin. That's it right there. That's why I said it might be legal, and you're correct in a legal sense, but it isn't lawful. And we deal with lawful. We don't deal with legal. We don't deal with that at all. Ralph Torn deals with legal. Pedro, he deals with legality. We don't deal with that. That legalese was designed to manipulate and trick the people. And if you could openly practice that, knowing that the people are ignorant to it, and they don't know it, yet you practice this, continue to practice this, and you don't even tell them the truth. Come on, man. That's self-explanatory. You part of the white wig crew. You part of those. Remember the guy used to wear Pedro, the guy used to wear the white wig with the curls on it, which is funny because the white men wearing wigs with curls, which is funny because white men here don't have curls when you study that. Yeah. That's what's up, man. So they know. I know they know. Their own words tell you that they know, yet they're not telling the people the truth. So, that's what it is, man. Thing is, they want to cease the plot, but the ones that they do have are laying abandoned. They want to cease the plots, but the ones that they do have are laying abandoned, overrun with grass, or being sold out to outsiders. And I think the plan is to sell it all out, period. It's a recolonization. And don't forget, we're a country now. We're in a colony. So in order to recolonize, you got to do it differently. It was always a colony. Never changed, man. The illusion of inclusion was to tell you it's now a country, give you a flag, give you an anthem, give you a pledge. Now listen to this. They gave you independence, founding fathers. They gave you independence. They gave you a flag. They gave you an anthem. They gave you a pledge, but they never gave you land. But you free though, Pedro. You free. You free. And this is why I said the illusion. There are folks that are benefiting from it, so they can't say nothing. They don't have the testicular fortitude to say something. They don't want to disrupt their status quo. You kidding me? They can't. They can't. Anyhow, family, let me see what we get down here. So I am here on the rock. We have to connect soon. All right. You know what to do. Show me forward, man. The money is not real. It is a change that land and its people. It is the chains that land and its people are the assets that are priceless. Yeah, the money isn't real. The money isn't real, it's the chains. I got you, punctuation. The land and its people are the assets that are priceless. I got you, Pam. In my youth, lyrics sing, he don't know how the youths get. So you remember that tune, Pedro? Well, listen, this was 2025. That would have to be in about doing that like 80 on bread. That like 88, Pedro. That was 88 or 89 or something around that time. I could be wrong. Like I tell him my age. Yeah. I remember that tune for Troop. Yeah. Man, brethren, that's why he's saying, man. That's what I'm saying, man. Bob Marley said so much trouble in the world. That was back in the 70s. So we got to be realistic. You know, the world has always had turmoil and trouble, but we've always been a resilient people. And we need to grow as a people in order to mend this. And the brother said it earlier, we got to get back to God, that divine nature that's within us. We got to start reconnecting with self internally, loving your brother, your sister, your family, your community, and building each other up, not tearing each other down. I mean, we're going to tear down, got to tear down. In order to build, you got to destroy. You can't build without destroying. So you got to destroy that part of you that destroys everything around you, and then start to rebuild self and rebuild your family, rebuild your community, rebuild your nation. That's the whole point. We got to start building. And politicians don't know nothing about building. They only do destruction. They don't build. They're not there to build. They're there to act as a buffer between those who do not want to be seen and those that do the work. Now, Empress, I can just tell you, be easy. I'm not even posting that. Cut that out. Hey, y'all, it easy to talk. Look, family, I'm out of here, man. Oh, man. He said, when your neighbor sets your house on fire, then bring a bucket with a hole in it. They ain't your hero. Make sense of nonsense. Yo, Pam, you on a roll tonight for sure. Colin said, Jacqueline, I was in the kitchen when this was read out. I apologize. Well, I can't see the connecting comments, but I give thanks, Colin, man, as always, man, for your support, your insightfulness, for sure. The books at the land registry, books were rewritten and put on print sheets in 1980. They leave off what they plan to steal, like Beatrice Henry. The land registry goes back to 1936 forward. My grandfather witnessed the sale of plantation deeds. The black, I guess that's Black Rock, 1966, wants to be the new king. Alex, I in an age of digitalization, you would think these books would be on the computer by now so we could do a thorough search, but I don't even say about that, man, Reggie. I don't know. External tariff for goods with import duties 0 to 20% on the Trump. Well, this right, I can tell you right now. Show it to you, family. What's going on, family? Rastafari. Barbados got tariffs way more than that. Even, I mean, it's crazy what they do here, and again, what we allow, because it doesn't apply to everyone. There are folks who get duty-free concessions and all a bunch of other stuff. And don't get me wrong. Taxes, I mean, come on, man. Based on what they owe Barbados alone, we don't have to collect taxes from Barbadians. Cut out national insurance, create real insurance policies for people and their families so that when they do pass away, the transition, the families do get a cash benefit, develop wealth, get rid of national insurance, not national insurance, get rid of, national insurance covered by the government. I think that should be completely separate from the government and managed differently entirely. Maybe the government might oversee what's happening, but I don't think they should have their hand directly involved in that. The other thing is income tax. Get rid of income tax. Stop thieving the people money. You don't work for it. People work for it. Stop dipping into people's pocket. Pay checks and pay packets. All them things should be abolished. Get rid of them sort of things, man. Because you don't need it. The amount of money that's old could sustain the country and carry into at least the next 50, 100 years easily. Come on, man. Lying to the people about taxation. Only for a little while, still paying storage taxes. How long y'all say y'all fix the storage? What the storage fixed? What we still paying contributions? We ain't fixed. Ralph Thorne, what happened to that? Again, what's your plan? We want to hear your plans, man. Pedro, I think you need to ask Mr. Thorne a question when you on one of them other platforms, man, because he ain't coming on here. So we don't get a chance to answer him. And if he does, I know he ain't gonna do that. So it don't even make sense having that conversation. But answer the question, Pedro, and let me know what he says. Many of us still have chains on our brains. It is time to take them off. Your master will not do so because he benefits from our ignorance. Barbados is a corporation doing business. Records Barbados 140, then 144, 166, 169 at 1.392 square miles. Square is business of the sugar business. Well, the thing is, square is two-dimensional. Let's keep that in mind also, not a cube. So it isn't three-dimensional measurements, and Barbados is not a square land. It's not a flat land. I know they say it flat, but there's a lot of different. They're dealing with the claim in the external, but that square miles deals with the land that was agreed to be leased by the corporation. So as far as how big the territory is, it might be a little bigger than that amount. It might be bigger than that amount, but that's another conversation, perhaps for another night. Well, I thanks for all these comments, but if I read all these all night, I'll be here for probably another hour. Family, listen, we're going to hit the road. It said, Ralph and Mia work with legal. Yeah, we know that for sure. And that's how they confuse you, because both of them are in the British Accreditation Registry, which means that they speak legalese. So whenever you hear her speaking and hear him speaking, although you listening and you like what you hear, that's not what they're saying. That's not what you think you hearing when you say what they say when they say it, and what they're saying when they said it in the first place. But we ain't getting that because we ain't getting that. So Pedro, that's my point exactly. And thanks for pointing out that, because that's a reality. I said that too. The people own the land. That's right, Colin and Miss Ali and Jacqueline. Yep, that's what's up. Before colonization, and even in the colonizer land, they had to approach the landowners for help. Those owners are the people. That's a fact. Don't mind they say that they had to bring Africans because the natives couldn't farm the land, as if they weren't farming before they came to eat. It's like what they were drinking, coconuts and eating bananas off the tree. Come on, it's crazy. Although bananas might have come from England, though, that's another conversation. I think bananas came from England. Well, original bananas with seeds in them. Let me put it that way. That grew upright, not the ones that you see now. But over 3 trillion stuck in offshore accounts coming back when we lock up BBDDLLP. Look, that's way too many letters, man. $3 trillion in the offshore accounts. That could run Barbados for a while, family. Anybody got to pay no taxes? Because with that money, we're going to invest, we're going to generate, we're going to create industries, we're going to start to revamp the agriculture industry, cut down the import bill. Food is going to be grown to be dispersed with the people for free. We got water, we got land. What more we want? We harvest the water, we got the land. We dedicate people basically dedicate 3 hours a day time on a daily basis to cultivate and work the farms. So you got free labor and you got free food. We feed the entire country. Simple. So they know youth crime, the youth are engaged in what we're doing. The youth ain't got no time to run over no guns and all that nonsense. We don't have no time for that. The circumstances that they created is what create all the drama, all the problems you see. They're all deliberately orchestrated by the administrators who work for the plantocracy to fulfill their agenda. We, the people, got to govern ourselves. And that's a fact, Pedro. He said, I ask questions where I go. I like that. Facts. Sean said, you pay tax when you buy on Amazon. Y'all know that now, that even when you buy on Amazon or some of these different places, Barbados has an agreement they made with some of these platforms where they tax you for what you buy online. You believe that? I mean, this way talking about family, these folks are crazy. They don't even use, and that's all pocket change for them, It's always to take more from you. Yet they care. No one is talking about changing and getting rid of all that madness and then restoring the fact that you stole it to the people. Nobody ain't talking that talk. Nobody's having that conversation. Anyhow, I said I'm out of here for the 5th time. It's 2 hours now. I'm out, man. She ran around in Buckingham Palace. I'm not sure who she referring to. Stephon saying both not to be trusted. I mean, they're both in the same society. They're both part of the law society, whether we like it or not. They're all part of the old guards, man. We just, we gonna learn, man. Took our sugar cane and now import. Serious. Can you play another tax? Can you play another tax when you get picked it up at customs? Wait, hold up. You pay another tax when you pick it up at wait, hold on a minute. Hold on a second. Import. Let me see if we get this straight. You pay online, you go to customs to pick up something, and customs charge you a tax. Well, I guess you getting taxed for the paperwork, or you getting taxed? Well, we need a custom officer to come here and explain this to us. Hang on a second. Ross, the colonizer gave the peasants land to farm, while our black leaders gave square foot. They gave land to those they had favor with. I always, while the black leaders give. Speaking of black leaders, you know what? I can do one more thing. There's a customs fee. I'm done. I'm done. We allow this, man. And what we allow is what will continue. So we really can't. That's what I'm saying, family. Can somebody answer Mr. Thorne the real questions? This is what I want to know. I want to play something here real quick. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'll just play a part of it. And this is deliberate on my part, by the way. But pick up between the lines, family. Let me just go ahead and do this real quick before I go. Then I'm definitely out of here, family. Check this out. Check this video out. I don't necessarily use that word woke, but but that's the woke school boards. Snowflakes tried to silence the pastor. This guy, in fact, I won't even give you the history. But I'll give you history. He's a pastor, and he goes to different school hearings and he calls them out on the different books and stuff, the gender issue and the whole, that whole letters alphabet thing. And he's allowed to speak, and there's lots of videos on him online and stuff. But watch what happened a few weeks ago when he went to this particular location. I just want to play this based on what Pedro was just saying. Check this out.
I have the power to create a citywide emergency. One man. And keep in mind, not a white man, but an African American.
We started school yesterday, everyone.
I told you, bro. Listen.
But all their stuff is still up there.
Yeah.
They got to come back.
Yeah, they got to come back. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here in Baltimore. But as you can see, no one is sitting on the board right now. They had a citywide emergency. And they did this right before we got to public comments. Everyone has their property still sitting at their desk. This is the liberal shake and bake. This is how they move their agenda forward. They know that I'm here. They have to adjourn the meeting because they have a citywide emergency? Is that because there's a real issue going on? You be the judge. Or is it because they know that they're getting ready to hear the truth? You all have a citywide emergency, right? She couldn't say that, but you did. What's strange is everyone has their stuff still at their desk.
That's right. That makes it so that shows you it's emergency.
It shows that they're coming back.
No, it doesn't.
The citywide emergency is me. Someone comes to town with a differing viewpoint, and you all come up with a makeshift plan to shut him down so he can't speak.
You have some ID you want to share?
Some ID?
Yes.
Identification?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that, brother.
Okay.
I go to white school boards in the suburbs, and the white people who know that I'm coming, because I may advertise it, they let me speak.
We appreciate that.
But the black people in my own community that look like me, y'all have a black governor, a black mayor, predominantly black school board, black officers, and the guy who has a differing viewpoint can't speak in your school board meeting. You are defrauding me of my freedom of speech.
No, we're not. You're talking, right?
No, I'm not able to be heard on record. And that's the problem. This is the issue with why we have failing schools in Baltimore. Because no one wants to change. It's protecting the status quo. Let's protect the CEO of Baltimore Public Schools who makes $479,000 a year. The kids can't read. But she makes $500,000 a year. This is not right. No, take me out. It is necessary. I can't go. I've come too far to go too easily.
I've come too far to go too easily. That's what the man said. Y'all gonna have to take me out of here. You know, I didn't come this far. And it's interesting, like he said, you go to white schools, nobody says nothing to him. You come in a predominantly black community to spread this truth and call him and hold him accountable. And all of a sudden, you know, his own that look just like him. Yeah. There are folks who benefit from the way things are and don't want that to change. The office of Sheriff Willoughby and colleagues needs to be held accountable for all the statistics they've collected and the plans they have implemented. Barbados is asking your office, probably for the first time openly and publicly, I don't know. We want a level of accountability. In one of your episodes that you are so willing to share with Barbados, all this good knowledge that you have collected, and we applaud you for that. And we applaud you for that. What we're also asking you for right now is to reveal to us, share with the nation in one of your future episodes, what plans have. Turn the camera in now and show us what you have done with this information and what your plans had looked like for the last 10 years. Just 10 years. I won't even go beyond that. I'll give you 10 years. We want to know. Inquiring minds want to know, man. These youths, we are failing the youth by allowing these administrators who are deliberately misguiding our children to continue to misguide them. We got to do something, family, and it's just that simple. So, enough said, man. Enough said, man. So that's what's going on, man. So anyhow, family, I give thanks for the comments. Love, make sure you, like I said, I do the part here. Make sure you do your part. You got to share it with your people. You got to tell them, y'all know who's already, person of interest. They already know how this thing go. But we're going to keep doing the work regardless of what they say and how they try to flip it. They can't get me out to the race. They get tired for see me face, man. That's so we do it, family. That's what it is. We building champions. We ain't killing champions. We're going to find our own way forward, and we're going to trust the Almighty, like the Haitian Revolution, to give us the victory, man. We already know we won. So that's why we push forward. Not because we're looking to win. We already know. We know. You can't. That's in our blood. It's in our veins. It's in our veins, man. And that's what it is, family. So, yeah. Anyhow, Stephen said, you got to call these people out. Now, we ain't calling them out. We calling them up. We ain't calling them out. We calling them up. They got to step up. If they ain't stepping up, then they going to have to step out. We ain't got to tell them to step out. They going to have to do that on their own. We raising the bar, man. We're not accepting mediocrity anymore. We're not accepting your condescending ways and ideas. We're not accepting the fact that you're looking to marginalize and relegate a set of people. We're not looking to subjugate and subjugate. We're not looking for that. We're not dealing with that. Segregation in terms of 2 Barbados, 3 Barbados, political class, all these other classes. Y'all can have 1 billion classes all you want. The people going to govern themselves and their affairs. We're going to take charge, man. It's that simple. And that's the direction we should be going in. Not asking no politician to come and rescue us. No, who does that? Somebody throw you over a cliff. You asking to give you a hand back up? To be thrown over a second time? Alex said, if you can't say it, then you can't write it, then you can't do it, you are then a liar. Facts. Anyhow, family, having said that, I give thanks for those who tuned in. Again, tell a friend and tell a friend. We've been on here for a minute. That wasn't the plan. But, you know, God's in control, man, for sure. And I definitely give thanks. Now, here's the challenging part. If I got to pick a tune out of here, now, what tune we gonna pick, family? We need Pedro. I need a tune, Pedro. Cause we need a tune. We need a tune. Do I have another video? I have another video. I don't know if I can show this video though. Let me see if I can show this video. Give me a second. Let me see if I can. I don't know if I can show this video here. Let me see if I can show this video. Hang on. Let me see if I can show this video. Desktop. And this file. No, not that file. Hang on. Yeah. It's this video right here. I don't know if I could show this, man. Like, oh no. Oh no. Let me see if I can show this video. I might show part because one of the guys that was, well, I was filming this and let me see if let me see if I can do this before I go. I got you. Let me. This was downtown. Yeah, I was feeling pretty but yeah, it was interesting though. It was a night was an interesting night. I not as that was quite interesting. Quite interesting. What happened later on in that video was like crazy. But anyhow, I love this land called Barbados. I love the people. This is home. And, you know, you got to do what you got to do for each other, to have each other, and for each other. You ain't got no time for in-house, whatever. That's what they banking on. That we stay divided. But united we stand, you know what I'm saying? We don't even plan on falling, so we ain't got no conversation for that. So, according to the sister and girls, and I give thanks for that one. Although it was subtle, right, sis? I see you. I see you ease that one in there just now, man. I ain't miss it. I ain't miss it at all. So, based on special requests, I got to drop this tune here. No, let me just share the screen real quick on the way out, family. Y'all be good. Keep good. All the meditation, like I said, and look for solutions. Look for ways to make a difference right now. Miss Martin does have a point. It's about time we do better for ourselves and not depend on the government or whoever else promising you whatever and want to give you a favor. You know how favors go. I think Pedro just said it. To do you a favor, you know what's coming next. So, nah. Let me build self. Let me build each other in the process, man. That is it, man. At least you have to say it. Love and light, family. The family here in abroad, territories in Trinidad, the Americas, New York, all over the world, Miami, Canada, England, Kansas, Australia, Ethiopia, Jamaica.
Them not build great man, them only kill great man. Babylon be still a no.
But I'm still on here suffer.
Some of us say that na work for Poplan. Can't let them move work on ya. But Molly Peter touch you Mandel free I turn a song. Nitty-gritty Papa Richie, yeah. Can't let them get you down with iniquity. Country and town in a pretty. Mankind will take your crown cause them living shitty. I look you things are rasta and a licky. Babylon, yeah, you're the sweet and tricky, yeah. No, yeah. Them not build great man, them only kill great man. Babylon be still a no underrated man. Some of us say that no work people done. Can't let them overcome. Them not build great man, them only kill great man. Babylon be still a no underrated man. Some of us say that same so them time. All of them are work people.
The more youth them kill, see another one rise and give Babylon a surprise. Bozai, a Baba and I children cry. I pray for equal rights and justice for my people every day. Forbidden fruit in the garden, we have to weed them out. Forbidden fruit in the garden, we have to weed them out.
Them killed Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. A same thing them bring up on Rodney King. Millions vex, still I couldn't do nothing. King Selassie I be sing, yeah. Some have think fireball, some have flash lightning. King Selassie I be king, yeah. Them can't break me joys, now me love within. Selassie I pick me sing, yeah. World I cry for the love we bring, and
Rastafari is everything, yeah.
To the powers of the works we cling. Them can't do the Rastafari thing.
Not a
Them
thing.
not kill great man, them only kill great man. Babylon be still a great man. Some of us say thunder work before time. Can't let them overcome.
Give thanks,
Them not
family.
kill great man, them
Bill
only kill
Self,
great
Molly
man.
Tether.
Babylon be
Love
still
a life, family. All day, every day, man.
Some of us say that
Promise gonna
work
be
before time.
releasing up
Can't
more
let them
rights in your schools.
overcome.
Not in
Grace
this
is
country or
great.
anywhere else that
Should not be
happens.
underrated.
You got
Grace
this
is
thing
great.
backwards, man.
Should be
But
appreciated.
they didn't tell you that. I didn't tell you that.
Try your best to
They
endorse
had
it.
it backwards
Don't play
then. They
by
still got
mind
it
and
backwards
pass
now,
it.
man. Y'all ain't ready.
Working them tricks, begging water in a
Y'all ain't ready,
basket.
man.
King Selassie,
I
I be
suspect y'all to be
this.
problems.
By your roots and your culture,
What's the
there.
plans,
To the
though?
last this.
Episode 8, man. You getting me? And I'm on the screen, though.
Yeah. Babylon, them no build way.
Babylon the Belwy. You want the police in the schools, man. Yeah, we ain't about that. Straight. Y'all for joy your night, family. Be up out of here, man. Somebody go tell them. Yo, man. It's that kind of year, though. I'm telling you, all is going to be revealed, man. So that we ain't got no excuse for not doing what we're supposed to been done. But we going to get it done. Rastafari. Love and love, Sammy. Love and light, family. Y'all be good. Up for we'll see you Friday night. I see you all. I have a guest coming in. Guess who it is?